Hello everybody. Well, I just thought I'd try and do a video as well of how I'm making the homemade paper. So I'm just starting off by putting just some paper that I've torn up into my blender, and then I'm going to add some water. So you can see that going in there. So I don't know, about sort of half full at the moment. And lid on and blend. Hang on, I'm going to put this down a sec, stop that there, and then you'll be able to see afterwards what happens. Okay, so this is what I've been left with now. So it's quite sort of brown and mushy. I think I'm just going to add a bit more paper, so I'll do that and then come back to you. Okay, so I've added some more torn up white paper to my blender to go on top of the brown mushy stuff. So I'm just pouring in some more water, and I'll come back to you because I'll blend that up. Okay, so I've blended the paper together, and this is what I'm left with now. So I'm going to come back to you and show you the next step in a sec. Okay, so this is quite difficult obviously to film on my own, but I've got this pink bowl, and I've put my frame, I've just rested it over the top. So what I'm going to do now is just pour that pulp over the top of the frame. Obviously I can't film myself doing that, but I will show you the results afterwards. So that's the next step. Okay, so with this, that's the pulp on top. Now you can see some areas, some people say you can squidge it over, but I just think it doesn't work too well. So what I'm going to do is just whiz up some more pulp. It'd probably be two-toned, which I think comes out quite nicely, and I'll show you that in a while. Okay, so I just poured some more sort of white paper that I tore up, and that's over the top. So you can see the sort of dual colour effect, and all the water then is dripping down into my little bowl there. So the next stage is to put the other frame on top, which I will show you in a moment. Okay, so I've just put my other frame on top, as you can see, and then you grab a sponge. This one isn't great, I have to say, but it was the only one I could get, and you just basically press that down on top to soak up some of the water. You can hear it squashing through into the bowl underneath. Okay, so then what I did was I flipped over the frame to the other side, and again I pressed a sponge to get the water, as much water out as I could, and then I flipped the frame back again. And then what I'm doing, I'm sort of tapping, because you have to try and release the paper off the top of this frame. Okay, so that's the next step. So once I've finished the tapping, that will help to release the top frame from the paper on the bottom frame. So then at this stage, what I do is add whatever you want to add on top. Now I tried flower petals yesterday and they didn't adhere to the paper. I found things like chili flakes or herbs or lavender seeds, whatever, were the best. So I'll show you that next. So I'm just going to sprinkle over some chili flakes on top. I mean, there are probably other ways of doing this, but I've just found this has been the easiest one that works for me. And as I say, it was important for me to have very firm netting on the frame. So okay, there we go. So those are just chili flakes I've sprinkled on. So the next step is I'm going to take it over to my tin foil and put it face down, and I'll show you that in a moment. So now I have that frame that I've just flipped over and put down on some tin or aluminium foil. And then the next part I'm going to do is put my sponge on top and just take a little bit more excess water off. Okay, so just pressing my sponge on top, there's not really much water left on there, but that was the next stage. And then again, I'm just going to lift the edge of the frame and try and release the paper from it. So I'll show you that in a while. Right, so after doing the tapping, you have to be careful. So you sort of tap all over the top of the mesh, and then just gradually from one end pull it down. I mean, you really do have to take your time with this, otherwise it can just tear up. But if you're careful, as you can see, you get your sheet of paper off the frame and it's onto the aluminium foil. Then what I've been doing is just putting aside. I think it takes about 3 days to dry, but that's basically it. So then what I'm going to do next is, I had one that I made just before and it didn't come away from the frame cleanly. So the good thing is you can reuse the pulp. So I'm going to try that again on another sheet. So just to show you, that's the pulp from the first one that I made that didn't come away from the frame properly. So I'm just going to add some more shredded paper, water, make up another batch, and then just follow the same procedure as I've previously done. So I hope this helps everybody, and give it a go, because it's lots of fun. I find that I probably can make about 4 sheets before I get bored with the process, but I think it's the least messy way of doing it, and you can get into a little routine of you know, getting into the flow of each little section, so it doesn't take too long to do. Okay, I hope it helps, and thanks for watching. Okay, so I just added a bit more torn up paper that I had to the pulp of the one that didn't work properly. Now what you can do as well at this stage is add some food colour, or I think you can add acrylic paint or anything like that. What I've got here are some little tiny pots of food colour powder, so I'll put a little bit in and show you what that looks like. So I've just put the powder on the top and I'm going to whiz that up so you can see the colour afterwards. That's the result of the colour that I finished with. Because I had quite a bit of blue in there anyway, it's sort of, I suppose, you know, sort of like a light purpley bluey colour. I think as well it will lighten when it dries, but yeah, I'm quite happy with that colour. I'm going to use that for my next page. Okay, so that's the whole way of doing it. Obviously it's been very tricky filming it on my own. I'm hoping that my daughter Rachel is going to help me splice it all together, but it's just to show it really, because it's a lot easier than in pictures, I think. So thank you for watching, and I hope it's been helpful.